Robertson cutting to the net, shooting, he scores! Here's a chance for Skinner, scores! The bouncing puck settles down and Skinner.
Yeah, no, we're very pleased to add both Victor and Jeff to the our top six group. I think that they're complementary players to the guys that we already have in those roles.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Full-Time Hockey, Oilers Edition. Wow, what a day it was for the Oilers for the first day of free agent frenzy. Opening day, opening hours, Jeff Jackson makes a ton of moves, signs a ton of extensions, and our team is on the way to a huge season next year because it's just so exciting to see what he has brought to the group. So let's begin by taking a look at who's out the door. So Mr. Warren Foegele has left. He's gone to LA Kings. So he used to have a cap hit of $2.75 million. Now he's signed with the Kings for $3.5 million for 3 years. So Vinny Desjardins, the next guy, Big Vinny had to go because he's got a big raise from a $762K minimum wage to now $2 million per. So he signs with our rival next door with Vancouver Canucks for 2 years at $2 million. We couldn't keep him because, he outpriced himself. He was doing good on the PK. He had a pretty nice 2 seasons here with the Oilers, but in the playoffs, I think he couldn't really handle it. He couldn't get the job done because in both seasons he had to sit healthy scratch for a number of games in both seasons, so that's not good for contract extension talks. And also that's not good for us to try to win a cup if you can't perform to what we need. Next guy out, Sam Carrick, $850K with the Ducks. I'm not sure what his cap hit was for the Oilers because it was prorated. Now he finds a new contract with the New York Rangers, $1 million per year for 3 years. So good job in getting a raise and getting a lengthy contract. And of course, the guy that has been eating up all our cap space and haven't done crap for our team, the beloved Jack Campbell. So he was bought out on June 30th, so prior to the July 1st free agency opening day. Jack Campbell gets bought out. His $5 million, wow, I can't even say it, $5 million cap hit. $5 freaking million for this guy, man. Can't believe it. So 3 years left on his contract. Now we have to pay a 6-year penalty. So the first year we can only get 1.1 million docked off on the cap on the cap. So it's a savings of 3.9 million, which you can use. Afterwards, it gets a lot more painful. So we'll skip talking about that. Alright, so all the guys out, and who did we bring in? Okay, so 2 notable newcomers that really, one of them was announced very early, basically within the first hour of free agent frenzy. Another one came late, and that was a big surprise that he actually picked us, and that is Jeff Skinner. And the former guy, Victor Arvidsson from the LA Kings. So this guy was discussed probably in a couple months beforehand. He would be a good fit for the Oilers if he was fully healthy. His old buddy Matthias Ekholm probably lured him to Edmonton to play with him and talk good about our city and our team, which is a big surprise and big change for Edmonton, because it's been a place that nobody wanted to come to. Now we're at the doorstep of winning that cup, and that really has changed the atmosphere here with a new rink, new facilities, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, a strong team. Each year entering the playoffs, getting pretty deep. So I think guys would like to come here to get that chance to probably play with McDavid or Draisaitl and maybe even win that cup. So previous video I already talked about Arvidsson. We won't get into too many details. So a $4 million cap hit for 2 years, so he takes a slight pay cut from the 4.25 he got in LA. So welcome here to Edmonton, Victor Arvidsson. Next guy was Jeff Skinner, and he comes to the Oilers at $3 million per for 1 year, like a tryout year to win a cup and try his luck in the playoffs, because he's played over 1,000 games in the NHL and he hasn't played one single playoff game, because he has been with the Buffalo Sabres in the past many years, and before that with the Carolina Hurricanes that didn't make it to the playoffs for some reason. And this guy is a perennial like 30-goal scorer. That's why he earned a $9 million paycheck with the Buffalo Sabres when he was moved over there. He had some bad years in between, up and down player. That's I think last year he didn't perform very well. That's why I think Buffalo decided to cut ties with him, and he was bought out a couple days earlier. So his $9 million cap hit is in the books for Buffalo. They have to pay for another 6 years. That's going to be very painful for such a high end contract. And we get him now for only $3 million because he's going to get paid anyways, so he doesn't get too much from the Oilers. But if he can bring back that 40-goal scoring year like he had previously performed in Buffalo, and he does that in Edmonton, holy smokes, do we ever have a stacked team. Like even Arvidsson had a couple of 30-goal campaigns. 20-goal campaigns were like easy cheesy for him. So basically we have like two new guys that are like 30-goal scorers as an average number for goal scoring. Point wise they're like 60 to 80 points each, and that's with like Buffalo. I mean, playing on a crappy team like Buffalo, and Jeff Skinner still gets 80 points. And also LA Kings aren't that good, and you know, they made it to the playoffs but each year defeated by the Oilers in the first round, and he still gets like 50 to 60 points per year, so that's not bad at all. So Arvidsson replaces Foegele. Foegele gets $3.5 million in LA. Arvidsson gets $4 million here in Oil Town. Basically it's a swap of players, but I'd rather have Arvidsson for like just $500,000 more, because this guy can score. He's got multiple 20-goal seasons and even 30-goal seasons, while Foegele only had his first 20-goal season last year with the Oilers, and he's pretty inconsistent to me, and he's also very clumsy when he plays down his stick. I mean, the goals he scored are like, you know, empty netters, or even like some tap-ins from like a great feed from Draisaitl or whoever he's playing with. And most of those breakaways he has usually end up like missing the net or directly shot into the goalie's chest. So I really have had enough of Foegele, even though he's a nice guy, you know, he's friendly with the team, everybody likes him, but you know, he has to go if we want to win that cup. And Arvidsson, if fully healthy, I think provides a much higher chance for the Oilers to accomplish that final mission and hoist for Stanley. Now with Jeff Skinner on the team, I don't know how we should draw up these lineups. Maybe I should take some time to do some mock lineups, because man, are we ever deep. I'm not even finished with the signings and the other guys. Let's go down, and some newer guys. Josh Brown, depth D-man, so he's a big guy that replaces Vinny DiArnay because he priced himself out of Oil Town. Josh Brown comes from the Arizona Coyotes at $1 million per for 3 years. He's 6'5", a big guy, age 30. Had some very poor stats, I think, in the past few years, but I don't know. He's playing on the Coyotes, so I think anybody would probably have poor stats. Maybe he's a different guy here in Oil Town. Hopefully he will play better than Vinny, and also be a big brick wall and stop all the offense coming from the opponents. But he's probably the 7th guy, as Philip Broberg has probably slotted himself in as that 6th D-man, because his performance in the playoffs was excellent. Maybe he'll rotate in with Broberg or whomever to keep the bodies fresh and not so tired for the Oilers. Another guy coming in is Connor Carrick. So one Carrick out the door, Sam Carrick out. In comes Connor Carrick, but they're not related at all. So one's Canadian, one's American. So they are not brothers or anything like that. This guy comes in at minimum pay of $775K for 1 year. So he's probably just a AHLer, or maybe he's on a two-way contract and he can come up to the Oilers in need, or when there's like injuries or something. So he was playing with the Bruins last season, and then he was with the New Jersey Devils for 3 previous seasons before that. Right shot D-man. So he's probably the 8th guy there on that lineup list. And then finally, Colin Delia. This is a goalie. So finally, we have a goalie signing in Colin Delia. He'll be probably in the AHL as a 3rd or 4th string goalie, like a mentor to the new kids down there. And he comes in at $775K for 1 year. Okay, so that does it for the newcomers. And now we'll discuss what Jeff Jackson was able to do to keep the boys on the bus. And he did a very good job in my opinion, because basically he brought the whole band back together, and especially that 3rd line. He kept the whole 3rd line intact. Everybody stayed, and that is a joy to hear, because they were a powerful force on the PK, and they were wicked in the playoffs because they provided that bottom forward scoring, depth scoring, whatever you call it, which is very important. Gives us a breather for McDavid and Draisaitl, our top players there, as they can contribute to goal scoring as well as defend like massively. So let's go to the first guy, Connor Brown. The first guy extended $1 million per for 1 year. So good on him for taking a pay cut, because he got his big bonus this year for like a total of like 3.25 million or something like that. So he'll be paid pretty well, and we can keep him for another year for cheap. So 1 million for Connor Brown. Next guy, janitor man, Matthias Janmark. So the main guy on our PK, and also he's a breakaway scorer, especially in the playoffs. Many short-handed goals and breakaways between him and Connor Brown. So they're a formidable duo on that front. He stays here for 3 years more at 1.45 million per. So that's a little bit of a raise from what he got last year, but he's well worth it, because he is a very dependable player that we like desperately need. Provides depth. He's a good defensive player, and also can contribute from time to time, potting in some goals at key moments. And to center that line, Mr. Adam Henrique. This guy I thought would probably walk into a free agency, into the open market, because we didn't hear anything from him in the earlier stages of today, and yesterday. And he surprisingly stays for another like a pay cut. He used to make 5.85 mil over with the Anaheim Ducks. Now he's taking like half of that to stay here in Edmonton for 2 years. So in his exit interview, I guess he really told the truth. He said that at this moment of his career, money isn't the first priority, and he has stayed true to his words. Staying here for 2 years at $3 million per. So he's taking 50% off his usual pay to probably try to win a cup here with the Oilers in the next couple of years. Good on him, Adam Henrique. So the whole 3rd line here, Connor Brown, Matthias Janmark, and Adam Henrique. So lineup wise, much easier to think about, as the 3rd line is basically penned in. They were doing well, they gelled together. Now we give them extra time, at least 1 year more, to keep gelling and keep performing. So we don't have to think about putting Nuge or whoever, or especially Ryan McLeod. Oh my god. Anyways, him as the third line center is really not a good choice. Okay, so Henrique back on the 3rd line as our center here. And next up, Corey Perry. Corey Perry decides to stay with the Oilers for another year. So with an AAV of 1.4 million per, his cap hit is only actually 1.15 million, so he gets some performance bonuses that aren't counted towards the cap. That's good. So the Worm stays here after his 4th stint in the in the Stanley Cup playoffs finals, 4 stints in a row in 5 years, and losing all 4 chances to win another Stanley Cup. But you guys will probably say, Oilers are dead, they're not going to win because Corey Perry is still on this team. He's going to go to the finals and lose for the 5th time in 6 years. But maybe a little bit different this year. Might be a chance that history could be wrong, because this is the first time he extended with one of those Stanley Cup losing teams. All the other years he went to another team right afterwards, because he signed in Tampa for 2 years, so that doesn't count. Now he's extending with the Oilers. He likes it here. He thinks he's got probably the best chance to get his 2nd cup here, so I hope he makes the right choice. And then he proves everybody wrong. He breaks his curse and he gets Oilers the cup and his 2nd cup. Then he goes ahead and retires. Another extension, Troy Stecher. So we extended the guy that came to our team in the trade deadline last year. He barely played. I think he played like less than 5 games. And he was never given a chance in the playoffs because he's probably injured or something. So he is joining us for another 2 years at $787.5K per year. So minimum wage contract there. Doesn't hurt us. We've got like the 7th D-man or something again, or an 8th D-man. I'm not sure what the arrangements between him and the new guy. What's that? Josh Brown or even Connor Carrick. So how they're going to deploy these 3 guys. So that does it for all the new guys joining the Oilers and also the extensions. So this is basically, I think we're probably done here, because after day 1 only a free agency frenzy, we are already over the cap. So as of today, the cap hit for the Oilers is at $90.5 million approximately, and the cap ceiling next year is $88 million. So we are about $2.5 million over, but we are allowed to go over in the summertime as long as we get that sorted out before the season starts. So we gotta make some subtractions there. So probably a notable guy that might be going out, or some unknowns here for question mark guys, will probably be Cody Ceci. So he's got a $3.25 million cap hit with 1 final year remaining on his contract. And as per last year's or the playoffs recently, everybody seems to want him run out of town, because he was playing bad and his pairing with Nurse was terrible. But after reviewing some stats, and to me, it wasn't really all his fault. I think it was more the fault of Nurse rather than him, because when he was paired with Nurse, they were terrible. The stats were terrible. But when he was paired with another guy, and like even Kulak for the last couple of games, he was doing pretty good. And he didn't let any goals in on the PK when he was playing on the PK. He was perfect. So he's not that bad like as people think. But maybe he probably will be the odd man out unless McDavid or some leadership guys, put up a word for him and want him to stay for that final year. Maybe they have to give him that chance to win a Stanley Cup ring, because he hasn't had one yet. Same with like all the other guys on the team. And also the other guy that might be in question is Evander Kane. He's got a $5-point-something million cap hit with 2 years remaining, but he's like, I don't know, he's injured still, and with that sports hernia or whatever, he probably needs surgery. And in 2 months' time, can he have surgery and recover and be ready for the next season? Or maybe he has to be placed on LTIR or something to get that, that cap hit out of the way. Or will he be traded out? Because some folks think he's dispensable. He didn't do well in the playoffs. He didn't contribute. He probably even contributed to us losing the cup. But he was injured. He was playing on like half a life because, he wasn't himself. When he was hot, he was very hot. Like just think about that Calgary series just 2 years ago before he got his wrist slit and before he like got his sports hernia or hip problems. He scored 13 to 14 goals in the playoffs and was the best goal scorer for that season. Like if he returns to form and he gets that season back, that's very valuable. That's like hard to find in the league. So I wouldn't be so eager to shoo him out the door so fast. And he probably does deserve some time to heal up and get a second chance at it. Okay, so that sums it up for the free agent signings and extensions that have been completed as of July 1st. There might be more coming, I don't know, but there's no cap space, so I don't know what more Jeff Jackson can do. On defense, I think we really do need an upgrade. Somebody to play with Nurse, I think. Playing Broberg with Nurse. Is that the long-term solution? Maybe if Broberg gets more time to develop with a full season before the playoffs begin, it might be a good duel with him and Nurse. But I don't know. Nurse, that 9.25 mega hunk of cap hit with that poor performance in the playoffs. He just, I don't know. Nothing more to say about it because he can't be moved. But I would prefer we could find a shutdown defenseman, like that Adam Larson we had, or somebody like him, or Chris Tanev, or whomever that can, do that job and really be a defensive D-man and shut down the opposition. Can we find that guy, and can we find a guy that can fit in our cap? We'll have to do some cap gymnastics, or the GM or Jeff Jackson will have to do some cap gymnastics. And whoever the GM is, I hope it's not Stan Bowman, because we don't really want some more negative, negative assets or negative personnel entering the organization. And plus, I don't think Stan Bowman had a really good track record as the GM when he was in Chicago. They weren't winning anything, and he probably did make some bad choices there too. So, Jeff Jackson, please don't hire this guy. And to close off this video, just try some line combos of what we've got so far with the new acquisitions. So maybe they might look like this to start off this season. So of course the best line in hockey last season, McDavid, Hyman, and Nuge stay together on the top offensive line. And then we have some newcomers entering the fray. Draisaitl on the second line with Arvidsson on the right wing. And if Evander Kane is not ready to play, I think Jeff Skinner with no issues on the left side of Draisaitl. This line will probably outscore the first line in my opinion, because like all these guys are pure goal scorers. And with Leon Draisaitl finally getting some decent wingers. Not decent, they're like way more than decent. These guys are like total offensive threats and snipers. So you better get the job done. No more, nuclear option to stick Draisaitl with McDavid together when they're like doing bad in a hockey game. No need to do that. This just makes Draisaitl lazy. He has to carry his own line for the whole year. He has to get used to that and keep being that offensive center for the second line and create as much offense as McDavid's line. That's how we get that double-headed monster and like scare off other teams before the game even starts. But if he's just like, whenever we're failing, we'll just join McDavid on the top line, and then, the other team says, okay, just stop that one line and the other three lines won't score. Okay, so we have to delete that history, delete that part, no more nuclear option forever, unless we're like really in the shits. Whoops, I shouldn't say that, but I don't think we need to do that anymore because we've got tons of depth, especially now with Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson on our team. Tons of scoring options. No need to do that. Just put that double-headed monster out, even like a triple-headed monster. We have like a decent third line. They can score, they can defend, they can do whatever. Only question is that fourth line. I guess Brian McLeod will have to center that fourth line and he has to learn to play not on the perimeter, but if he's on the fourth line playing only 8 or 9 minutes per night, that doesn't really matter to me. I'm just sick and tired of him, you know, on the second line or whatever, third line, and doing crap on the perimeter. He can score when he crashes the net, when he plays with that edge and, you know, forces himself into good spots near the blue paint. He can do it, but he doesn't like it because he probably doesn't want to get injured, and that's not good for the team. You won't win games like that. You won't be successful. So you better smarten up McLeod, or else you're probably showing out the door like Fogle did very, very soon. So for now, fourth line will be most likely what we had in the playoffs. McLeod centering, or maybe even Derek Ryan centering that line, with the Worm on the right side, and will be McLeod or Ryans or whomever on that left wing. So okay, that does it for today. Thanks for joining us, and if you've enjoyed our videos, please consider to subscribe, like, and share. Please hit that subscribe button and you'll receive notifications for our new videos that we put up, and get the latest scoop regarding the Edmonton Oilers. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time. Bye!